it depends on what the university
Hi everyone, my name is Melissa Vederman and I teach accounting at Alma Mater International School. Together with my colleagues, it is our combined goal to help our students achieve the desired marks and reach their full potential. With me here I have Joy Latswayo, who is one of our top achievers in the field of accounting, economics and business. My name is Melissa Vederman. Joy, please tell us what you aim to study at university next year.
I aim on studying political sciences, however, it depends on what the university offers. So, all in all, it's between political sciences and law.
That's great. Joy, how do you feel the Cambridge curriculum has helped you prepare for the next chapter of your academic career?
The Cambridge syllabus is not for the faint-hearted. However, it has installed a sense of independence. And if you think about it, it's kind of like university all in all, preparation. it's between political Furthermore, sciences and since the syllabus is international, it gives me a leg up, and I can apply to study at institutions abroad, which is the academic career. The Cambridge syllabus is not for
the CIAE focuses on 5 main learner attributes, which help us achieve our success. Joy, of course, you know those attributes very well.
Yes, ma'am, they are to be responsible, reflective, confident, innovative, and engaged.
It is such a privilege to be working with tomorrow's business leaders and help them prepare for the challenges their academic studies and careers will soon impose on them. In an ever-changing economic environment, we want to equip our students with critical thinking skills, which is going to help them stand out in a competitive market.
Yes, ma'am. And with that said, I believe that with my A-level qualification, I feel confident enough to conquer the world, tertiary, and my career.
Wonderful, Joy. I wish you all the best.
At Alma Mater International School, we not only offer many of our subjects digitally, but also offer the option to learn more about how computers work, as well as the digital world out there. Computer science helps the learner develop an interest in computing, as well as gain confidence in computational thinking using programmable languages and algorithms. We study topics such as databases, information representation, hardware, and software. We also gain a range of skills such as thinking critically, analytically, creatively, and logically.
I started my journey with design and tech when I was grade 8. And since then, it's been quite interesting. It has taught me so many things. It has taught me how to rethink things, reevaluate things. Design and tech essentially, which is kind of like product design, but I believe it's more about problem solving. You see a real life problem and then you try to find a solution to it, a solution that is ethical or sustainable or aid your user. It's not about just making pretty things or adding things. It's about actually thinking, why am I designing this and how will this solve a problem? So design and tech is not just about creating things like products or, for instance, architecture. I believe it also helps you in day-to-day problem solving and also thinking that everything that's designed has a purpose. And that's why I think design and tech is a very necessary subject, even if you don't take it up to AS or A levels. It's even if you just have that base, it just opens so many new lines of thought.
Afternoon, everybody. My name is Zoe, and I'm a
Okay, good morning. A very warm welcome to, I see we've got some attendees up and we're about to start. Just from my side, I would like to welcome all the parents online to this morning session. And just to give you the proceedings for today's session, we're going to have a little program just to take you through all of the high school subjects. So what we've done is we have shared those YouTube clips that were played beforehand with you to have a look at before we start the session, just to have a basic introduction and hopefully warm up some questions with you as parents. So our program would be, we'll first start with James, who will give a short introduction to the high school and the programs that we've got. And then next up, we've got our languages, which would be English, Afrikaans, and French. We are quite privileged to have some of our students who will be answering questions for you as well as our staff. Then we've got the Commerce Department up next, where we've got the 3 commerce subjects. They'll give a short introduction there. The Mathematics and Science is up as the next session there. Computer Science, Geography, and DT. And then we've got a short presentation on culture. And then we'll end off with a Q&A. So I would like for you to ask all of your general questions with regards to universities, with regards to recognition, all the general questions we'll keep right to the end. We'll move through those sections and each subject to ask subject-specific questions. You're welcome to do that. And then what I'm going to do is I just want to prompt you to go and have a look at our website. We are having this session on YouTube Live. So if you do experience any technical difficulties throughout the session, you're welcome to watch the recording afterwards as well. I'm pleased to ask questions. This is fairly informal, so we would like to have your questions up as we go through the proceedings. From my side, I would like for you to visit our website and to see the lovely programs that we've got in the high school. There's so much that we do with the students, like the President's Award we've got, which is a youth program. It's a personal journey. You can go and read a little bit on that. And we start that with the grade 8 students, so the 14-year-old age groups, right up to gold level. Then we also do have the Global Citizenship Committee, who does quite tremendous, great work, a sustainable change committee. And we've also shared some videos with you just to introduce you to those core concepts of that program as well. So I'm just going to hand over to Mr. Moya, our principal, and he'll do the introduction for us. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our informal discussion this morning. Thank you to staff and thank you to students. The students never say no when we ask them. This is our first ever virtual open day. We've never done this before, and we've done it ourselves. So thank you very much to everybody who made this possible. I'm not going to say too much. We've got a lot of people talking this morning. And as Louisa said, we want to keep it informal. So please ask questions. A number of emails have already come through this morning with questions. So we're going to try and answer them here. I'm sure you all want to hear the answers to those questions. I'm just quickly going to focus on probably the most important thing in our school. Like all other schools, we've got the sports, the culture, etc., etc. But academics are very important to us. Therefore, our focus on university. We've got an entrance exam that you probably do know about. So we're quite strict in whom we accept. We're looking for students who are motivated, obviously want to pursue the university path. And we're here to make those dreams come true. And I think that is the journey forward together as parents, teachers, students. How do we make those individual dreams come true? The wonderful thing about our curriculum is that it's quite possible. The one thing about Cambridge, and if you don't know Cambridge, is the options offered are overwhelming. And I think this is always why people find subject choices in the Cambridge curriculum so difficult. And it's for that reason you can literally fine tune it to suit your child. Nowadays in education, you'll hear the buzzword is pathways again and again. And I think we're just being fortunate, right place, right time, that our curriculum is suited to that. Okay, so back to our focus on universities. We've got students studying all over the world, many of them in South Africa. Right, for the last a number of years, many international universities have moved away from individual applications and moved towards school-supported applications. I think it's just to keep everything honest. It puts tremendous pressure on the school, or let me rather say there's a great responsibility on the school side now. If we send up predicted results, that is almost exactly what the student needs to achieve. The wonderful thing is, of course, this is a fantastic opportunity to build relationships with universities. If we highly recommend a student for medicine, there's a good chance that student might get in. Regarding medicine, we all know, especially in South Africa, whether you've done the CAPS curriculum or whether you've done IEB or Cambridge, it is difficult to get in. Last year, we've had a wonderful run getting our students into medicine. And this year as well, I've seen the feedback coming through from the universities. And I think last week we had heard that 2 of our students are in for medicine. Congratulations, and I'm very pleased. This year was also the first year that we had a student applying to MIT in the great US. And that was an interesting experience. Our admission ladies had to do a course just to complete the application. And the application takes many months to complete. And sadly, when we thought we had our child in, the Americans decided to relook at their laws regarding foreign students. And unfortunately, our student was not accepted, but we'll keep going at it. As a school, of course, it is our dream to get our students into the best students in the world. Okay, so that is regarding school-supported applications. To put a child in the best possible position to get into the university they want to get into the field, we try to create this CV, or call it a competitive university application. We renamed our school from academy to international a few years ago. And since then, the population of the school has changed rather dramatically, not just in student population, but teachers as well. We've got students from all over the world. I think the furthest from home is a student from Spain, but Africa just up north, plenty of students from Africa. Regarding the competitive application, those students wanting to pursue a university application overseas will more often than not do the 3 A-levels. But it's what we do in addition to the 3 A-levels that I'm very proud of. If you read articles regarding jobs, what jobs should my child look at, jobs being few and far between, almost all over, we've started looking at what else do we do? What else can we do for our child in order to give them that competitive application? And maybe even to exceed the competitive application, but to put these children in a position where they can actually apply for a job once they've left school. I know that sounds like an impossibility, but I'll explain it right now. The world is changing. The world is changing very, very fast. And I think schools need to do exactly the same. COVID-19 has been a massive tragedy, many lives lost, but like in every great tragedy, it has brought opportunity as well. The fact that our school has gone online, we offer the concurrent teaching model where students can attend physically or online. Instead of having digital literacy as a standalone subject, it is now part of absolutely every subject. And that's good. It's something we don't want to change. We are considering even post-pandemic to keep the concurrent model. I know that there are students who don't like it, and there's students and teachers who absolutely love it. I do think there are also tremendous benefits for those just in class, attending physically, having the technology present, being able to revise lessons, etc. To get back to the competitive application, like I said, 3 A-levels. I know for South African parents, that's often a bit of a concern. How can you only do 3 subjects? But simply put, A-levels roughly equal to first-year university. the best universities in the world won 3 A-levels. In South Africa, 1 A-level is equal to a CAPS matric in combination with some grade 10 subjects. 2 A-level subjects will give you a matric with exemption. We do have the AS subjects available as well. Students wanting to stay within the borders of South Africa, sometimes instead of doing the A-levels, they will choose the AS level route and then do 6 subjects. Okay, but I said earlier on, we add to that. And what do we add? We're very proud of our internships. We started them last year. We were going to continue this year, but COVID-19 interfered. What we do with our internships, this is not compulsory. Just on that note, a lot of what we offer is not compulsory. It is there for the child. If they want to take it up, they can. We will have their support. As parents, we always ask the parents to support their child in that journey. Our internships, last year we started with the Shibari Institute of Technology in Tokyo. Our students go there for 3 weeks. They work very hard in laboratories, doing a presentation at the end on their little research project. And if they're successful, they receive a certificate. Last year we had, I think it was 11, all of them completed the course successfully, received their certificates. But now these children are in a position where they've got their 3 A-levels, and in addition to that, they've got their internship. This year we added University of British Columbia internships there that we were going to do, but that sadly didn't pan out. Hopefully next year we will be there. And then in addition to the internships, there's also a new program. It's called the IPQ, International Project Qualification. The IPQ could be seen as an additional A level. In other words, your child now not just have the 3, they've got 4. Now, what is an IPQ? It is a little research project, 5,000 words. We've got a teacher that assists the child, specific parameters that we need to adhere to. It's literally a mini dissertation. And once the teacher is happy, it will get sent off to Cambridge, and Cambridge will take that to that specific faculty to look at. Now, what an incredible opportunity to build a CV, especially if you've got your sights on one of the very difficult overseas universities to get in. It's going to add tremendous value to your application, having that. Like I said, not compulsory. We launched it last year, and we've got 5 matriculants this year submitting. So I'm very, very proud of them. The fact that they've carried on during COVID with their teacher, doing research, putting it together. I think Joy, who's on our panel this morning, is one of those students with a fascinating topic, going around interviewing school principals in the area. I would love to hear her results. But yes, like I said earlier on, the long-term dream, to prepare students in such a way that they don't just have a competitive university application, but that they're almost job ready. I know it sounds strange, it's not something that we're used to, but I think it's probably something that we need to think about. In addition to the internships and the IPQ, we do open window courses on Saturday mornings. They're very, very cheap. I think they start at 100 rands. Open University, a private university in South Africa. Our students go there to attend short courses on game design, gaming, whatever the correct word for it is. And as an older person, I've learned that that is serious business nowadays. Also in grade 8, next year we'll be adding Microsoft certification that students can do as well. So the idea at the school is not just the normal sports and culture, and nowadays so many private companies providing that parents almost set up their own thing. Our focus is very much academics, and how do we build a CV for this specific child? Please, if I've created the impression that this is a school for gifted children, that is not the case. Yes, we are very strict whom we take into the school. And Louise, if I talk too much, you cut me off. This is not a school for gifted children. Yes, we do have very capable students. Most of our students are. What we want are driven students, motivated students. We do have a scholarship program. I've got students on fantastic scholarships, and they are not A candidates. They're not even B candidates, but the effort is there every day. What maybe fits in with that is our discipline. I'm very thankful. I can't remember the last time I actually had a serious incident where students were called to my office. I think the most serious offense that I deal with now is maybe homework, and even that doesn't happen very often. We don't have detention at our school. We don't have a demerit system. We've never had anything of the sort. The only thing that we do have is if assignment is due on Tuesday morning, it's due on Tuesday morning. If not, a 0 will be given. It's not negotiable. Students and parents, teachers, we all know that. We respect that rule. And that's it in a nutshell from my side and Louise. If there are any questions right now, more than happy to take them. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. I think from the question point of view, we will just do 1 or 2 questions, seeing that we've got 4 minutes. If you can maybe just explain the concurrent teaching model, which has been a question that popped up on the side here.
Okay. The concurrent teaching model, I think we in the early stages, not us as a school, but the world in this, and it'll probably be called very many different names out there. I actually don't know how we got to the word concurrent teaching, but what we've done is we've given every student a Microsoft license, and our platform is Microsoft Teams. And whether a student attends physically or attends from home, like has been the case with COVID-19, they will log into the timetable and they'll get taught. It's as simple as that. Traditional timetable, traditional teaching in many regards. Yes, we do have the flipped classroom in that. That is, a teacher might prepare a lesson or a portion of it, post so students can watch it, and then the teacher will continue with the lesson. So whether you're sitting at home, whether you're sitting in the classroom, it is exactly the same experience. We are still thinking on exactly how we will continue with this post-pandemic. There are countries going into a second infection, if I can call it that. So we don't know. We need to be ready for the future. I don't know if you're aware of this regarding exams, that the May-June session was cancelled by Cambridge. An amazing event or decision for them to make, since they did not cancel it, the May-June session during the Second World War. And so most of those students are writing end of the year. We prepared our students for a written exam. We prepared them for an online exam, and we've even prepared portfolios of evidence. So God willing, we're ready for the end of this year. We've had 2 of our exam sessions this year online. We did not have a proctoring system, something that we'll be adding to our ecosystem. And the honesty amongst our students impressed me tremendously. I'm very, very thankful. So that is the concurrent model. Posting of homework, assignments, etc. It's all there. Regarding the next year's textbook list, a student will be can buy a physical textbook paper or an e-book. But a laptop will probably be a requirement. It's the first time in our history that we've said that. But yes, I think before COVID, I was one of those teachers who maybe feared technology slightly and that we as a breed might disappear. But I've learned exactly how important we as teachers are. I do believe we are going to be around for many, many years to come to facilitate the whole learning experience. Yes, and Louise, I hope I answered the question there.
Yes, perfect. I think I'm going to just take one last question, and then we'll leave all of these general questions to the end, please. And that would start at 12. We would really like you to ask these questions. I will also prompt them, these that were asked. And we want to take you through some introduction to subject-specific sections of this proceedings. Just to clarify, the question there was if we using Zoom and at what time does it run at normal time? And I don't know if I should answer that, but we do use the Teams platform. And this runs in exactly the times that the normal classes are running, so that it's timetabled. You're welcome to add to that.
And Louise, if I can just quickly add to that. I think we all know the history of Microsoft Teams, designed as a corporate tool. And when the pandemic hit, many schools adopted it, some Google, we chose Microsoft. It is not perfect. I know that Microsoft clever people are working flat out in adding features to it. We constantly see that to make it a professional LMS, learning management system, but it is not that yet. So we are currently in negotiations within a company, a sister company of ours, to add an LMS. There's a few issues we have with Teams, especially specifically regarding user friendliness, that user experience. We want a parent to know very, very quickly if, for example, an assignment was not submitted. We've had that where a parent missed it because Teams is not that friendly, user friendly. So that is our next step. I think to finish off our little ecosystem, we've added a lot of platforms from Zoho to Scatsys to Zoom. And I think the last one, or the last two that we'll be adding is the LMS that will incorporate slowly with a proctoring system. I think for many years, Cambridge will continue still running the exams the way they do now. In other words, the exam papers arrive from Cambridge into our safe hall, students write it and we courier it back. But I think the day is coming that exams will go online and our students need to be ready. Also, many universities are doing that, so it's a skill that we need to give our children. It's as simple as that. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I think that was a nice short introduction, and hopefully we will see some questions towards the end there. Just to prepare you for the next section, we've got languages coming up. So we've got our staff members, Mrs. Rinaldi Maritz and Luke Perkins. And then we have some students that will be answering some questions, and I think that's great to have on the panel. We've got Johan Meiberg that will be answering questions on English, Tian Stein on Afrikaans, and Chidima on French. So we welcome them on for the next section if you are ready. Thank you.
Good morning, yes, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our language department. Now at Alma Mater, we offer English as a first language, Afrikaans as a second language, and French as a foreign language. And we have some students that will gladly answer and assist you with any questions that you may have afterwards. I'm going to introduce you to the English syllabus. Now in grade 8, we lay the foundation for the IGCSE curriculum. And then in IGCSE first language, English, we encourage our students to become appreciative and critical readers, writers, speakers, and listeners, with the emphasis, of course, of critical. So the Cambridge curriculum developed the students' analytical thinking skills. And then in our AS and A-level curriculum, the focus is more on linguistics. Skills such as accurate, fluent, and consistent writing is developed. And then they also have the opportunity to produce informed and responses that is appropriate to a certain context, style, audience, and they then convey knowledge and understanding of these texts from both specific examples that we offer them, but also from their wider studies. So research, especially in the A-level syllabus, is quite important. Learners are encouraged to not just take in what they learn in class, but they also need to apply the research that they have done in their questions. Now, these are all highly transferable skills that may help learners also in their other subjects, as well as equipping them for higher education. Now, James spoke briefly about the A-levels in his introduction, and our A-level students, because they have such a depth of knowledge in each of the subjects, these make them prime targets for the Ivy League universities all over the world. So it really is such an advantage to have English as a first language, and then specifically doing the Cambridge curriculum. Now I'm going to hand you over to Tian Stein, who will be telling you more about the Afrikaans second language curriculum. Good morning, Tian.
Morning, ma'am. Goeiemôre almal. Dankie dat julle die Zoom meeting bywoon vandag, en ek gaan maar net 'n bietjie gesels oor Afrikaans in ons skool en hoe dit vir my uitwerk en vir my vriende uitwerk. So van graad 8 tot 10 is Afrikaans net beskikbaar op tweede taal. So moenie dink dis niks nie, dis baie uitstekend. Daar gaan net oor al die basiese goeders van Afrikaans, soos sinkonstruksie, woordorde, als wat jy moet ken vir jou IG's en ja, dit is baie goed. En dan die eksamens van tweede taal, is 'n begripstoets en 'n luistereksamen waar hulle vir jou klank speel of 'n leesstuk speel en dan moet jy net luister en antwoord, wat ook baie goed is. En dan so jou IG's begin op graad 9 en dan eindig op graad 10, waar jy aan die einde van graad 10 jou finale eksamen skryf vir IG's. En ja, van die begin van graad 9 werk ons dit hard op basiese Afrikaans goed. En elke termyn doen ons luistereksamens, ons doen begripsvrae wat help met jou finale eksamens. So dis baie uitstekend. En dan sodra jy klaar is met jou graad 10 IG's, kan jy na eerste taal toe beweeg, wat net op AS level beskikbaar is, ongelukkig. En dis van graad 11 tot 12, maar dis ook baie lekker. Hier sal het ons temas wat elke 2 jaar verander. Dis temas wat oral in die wêreld gebeur, gebeurtenisse van ons land, soos voedsel, misdaad, sport. En in hierdie temas doen ons net klein leesstukke, kragpuntvoorleggings en toesprake. So dit is baie helpvol, dit leer ons meer van Afrikaans en meer van ons wêreld. So ek geniet dit baie en ja, baie uitstekend. En jy weet, Afrikaans is regtig ons werk elke week. En dan aan die einde van die week, elke Vrydag, het ons 'n leesperiode waar ons saam met ons klas Afrikaanse leesstukke lees, soos Filas se kind of Kring die Bos. En dan maak ons sommer beurt om te lees en dan bespreek ons sommer wat hulle sê in die boek. En jy weet, Afrikaans is baie pret en ek geniet dit verskriklik. So ja, dankie.
Thank you very much, Tian, for that short introduction. Mr. Luke Perkins will now say something more about our French syllabus. Thank you, Mr. Luke.
Bonjour et bienvenue à tous. Je m'appelle Luke Perkins. So welcome everyone. What I've just said is hello, good morning, welcome. My name is Luke Perkins, and I'm very privileged to be able to introduce grade 8s to French. Now, this is a very exciting language, I feel, and a very exciting route to follow. It's part of what makes us an international school. So as we know, French is an international language. It's spoken in much of Africa. Millions of African people speak French, especially in West Africa. Also, obviously, in Europe, not only in France, but in Switzerland, Belgium, and in many countries. And of course, Canada, where it is one of the official languages. So French is really important to the international traveler. And many of our students are going to go overseas. And it's just something nice to have and to be able to relate to. What we do in grade 8 is we have many students coming to Alma Mater with no French. They might come from a CAPS school where they've not been exposed to French. So we start from scratch. We assume that you don't have any French and we build from there. We also have students that do have some French background, but we accommodate everyone. It's really good for the students who are new to French to make friends and to be exposed to students who have a French background. They've got a great accent, a great feel for the language. What we do is we have an equal balance between the spoken French and grammar. So from the grammar side of things, we look at verbs, your most useful verbs, to walk, to run, to eat, to drink, all of those. Adjectives, of course, adverbs. So it's very similar to a traditional language structure where we build grammar. We teach students to build sentences and to build paragraphs. And on the spoken side, what we really want to do is to get students to a place where they could go to France and buy a train ticket, buy a lunch, go to a coffee shop, order coffee. And really now, 2/3 of the way through the grade 8 year, my students can actually do that. And that is what we practice. So we build on useful French. That is what we teach. Later on, they will be exposed to poetry, some French poetry. and just to have some exposure to French literature, which is very, very rich. Apart from that, we like to keep French fun. What I want to do, we've been a little bit prevented from doing this by the COVID pandemic, is have French lunches where we invite students to come to school with cheese, with baguettes, with confiture, with French foods, and to just make it a French cultural experience and to have a French lunch, because learning a language is also about learning a new culture. So that's very strongly what we want to promote here at Alma Mater. Thank you. Merci beaucoup. Thanks for listening.
Merci, Monsieur Perkins. You can now gladly ask the students, if you have any questions about English, you can ask Johan Meiberg. Any questions about Afrikaans, Tian Stein will assist you, and Chidi will answer any questions that you may have about the French syllabus. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. I think that was a brilliant introduction and hopefully warming up some questions. I don't have anything on the Q&A yet, so you're welcome to type into the question and answer box or even the chat on the side. Okay, while we wait for some questions, I don't know if Chidima and Johan would like to introduce themselves in the interim.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Chidima Waini. Hello, I am a grade 12 learner at Alma Mater, but I did the French curriculum in my IGs, so I have a little bit of experience of French. I'm here to answer any questions you may have regarding the syllabus or regarding where you would use French or why it's important. If you have any, I will gladly answer. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is in grade 11 now. I'll be here to answer any questions you might have about English.
Perfect. Thank you, Johan. Oh, there you are. There we go. Okay, it seems like our parents need to warm up a little bit to the questions towards the languages. Is there anything else you would like to add before we continue, Ronaldi?
Well, I don't know if I'm going to be dissing the other subjects now, but I always tell my students that English is one of the, well, required subjects as at most universities. So I always tell them, don't focus on math and sciences, focus on English, because that's going to take you places. Yes, I'm sure that the science and the mathematics teacher will have something to say about that. But I can also perhaps just say that, as you know, we offer the 3 languages at our school. Now, in our A-level syllabus specifically, we actually study the topic of child language acquisition. And we have a look at how the brain processes language, and then specifically different languages at a certain age. So our students, for instance, need to do studies on bilingualism. And very interesting is that students who learn language, more than one language from an early age, and then obviously develop that later in their lives, it actually shows that cognitively they are also more developed than in other areas of their subjects. With other words, if you speak more than one language, the chances are very high that your other subjects such as math and geography and sciences, whatever it may be, also benefits from that, because different neurons and pathways are established in the brain when you actually acquire another language. So we really do want to encourage students, obviously, to have English as a first language, but then to consider any of the Afrikaans or then French syllabus, at least up to the IGCSE curriculum. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think they've warmed up to some questions, so I'm going to ask them. So this one is a bit more technical, so Ma'am Rinaldi, you're welcome to chip in, but I'm going to hand it over to the students. So just starting with French, when the language is taught, is it only taught in that language, or is there some English instructions for those who are not as strong in the subject?
I wonder if I can come in there. Sorry, I know you said the students, but I'm still here. So in grade 8 French, no, there's no disadvantage whatsoever. We teach in English, and as the year progresses, I throw in more and more French. For example, good morning, sit down, take out your books, that type of thing. But we start in English. There's no disadvantage whatsoever if they have no French.
Okay.
I can also add to that. The teachers are very helpful. They wouldn't just speak in French the whole time, but also to give you the idea of how the language is used in sentences, how you would use it in your everyday conversations. They would obviously say some things, ask you questions in French, and then translate later on in English, just to make you comfortable with the language and not so foreign to it.
Thank you, Chidima. Johan, same sort of scenario in Afrikaans. Do you feel that English-speaking students are supported if they don't understand in Afrikaans?
Yeah, so yeah, we do have some English students in our Afrikaans class, and any Afrikaans that they don't understand is translated by the teacher, but they are encouraged to speak Afrikaans during the lesson. However, if they can't and if they struggle, the language is translated.
Thank you. Then just moving on to the next question is it advisable for a learner to switch from Afrikaans to French based on Afrikaans being a local and French being international, and how will the switch affect the learner's performance?
And Louise, who's going to answer that?
I can answer it.
Okay, go for it.
So grade 8 French is very basic, should I say. It's just making you familiar with the language, so you know some words, you're not you know a few things, and you get comfortable with the language. But it's from grade 9 and grade 10 that you begin to do the syllabus related things that you'll be asked in exams in your IGCSEs. So grade 8 French is very relaxed, just to get you warm you up to the French language and what to expect. So you just learn everyday words, verbs, different, just to make you warm up to the language basically. And then I guess you can switch from Afrikaans in grade 8 to French in grade 9, or the other way around. So you have it easy you can write your exams in Afrikaans, your IGCSEs Afrikaans, but you can have an idea of the French language in grade 8.
I would perhaps just like to come in here. I think it is advisable that a learner in grade 8 choose either French or then Afrikaans that they will then take with their English first language. It is possible, like Chidi has said, to do the switch in grade 9, but we prefer, especially because we lay the basics for that particular language in grade 8, that they choose between French and Afrikaans already in grade 8. So that when they get to grade 9, they already have that foundation, because in grade 9, we already start with the IGCSE syllabus, and a lot of subjects try to finish at least 70% of the syllabus of the IGCSE curriculum in grade 9, so that when they get to grade 10, that is the year that they are going to write the external exam, they have just time to revise and to reinforce certain structures, language structures as such.
Wonderful. I think that is the line of questions there is very much to do with the switch over. And then we've got some questions on the chat here, will current alma mater students be at a disadvantage if they did not have French in grade 7 and want to move over from Afrikaans first language to French foreign language in grade 8? I think that was answered, but you're welcome to add to that. And then the next question is very much related to that. Would a foreign student be able to start with Afrikaans in grade 8 if they never spoke Afrikaans? Ronaldo, you're welcome to prompt one of the students to answer that if you...
Right. I'll let Chidima answer the question about the French, and then the Afrikaans. Yes, they can definitely speak. We'll start with the Afrikaans in grade 8, even if they haven't spoken it before. Obviously, there are going to be some challenges, but I would just like to reinforce again that English is our first language. So that is the main language that they need to have. Then Afrikaans is the second language, and French is the foreign language. With other words, the pace is much slower there, and then they focus a lot on vocabulary, simple sentence structures. The literature, if they do have any literature, it's simply for enrichment, or it can perhaps be part of their comprehension, but it is not as complex as you would expect from a first language. So it's definitely possible if the student is willing to work hard and has a love for language, then definitely possible, yes. Chidi, will you answer the question about the French moving over to grade 8 if you did not have French in grade 7?
So the grade 8 French, you start from scratch. Everybody's put on the same level. You all begin the same things. And another thing I would say is that French is very similar to English. A lot of the words in English are gotten from French. So it's not like a whole different language like Latin that you have to learn everything from scratch. So many things are similar to words you already use in your everyday life. It's just pronounced differently, or you have like masculine and feminine. So there's no disadvantage to someone who hasn't done French. I will give an example for my class in grade 9. We had a French speaker. So the person was originally French, and there was me. I just know a little bit of French. And then there was someone who knew nothing about French. And we all got into that class. We're on the same level. We did everything from scratch, and we got very good marks, including the person who never had French before. So there's nothing to worry about if you have never done French. Nobody's at a disadvantage in any way. The things are taught very gradually. You build up on your vocabulary, and everybody goes at the same pace, basically.
Thank you, Chidi. I would also just perhaps like Johan to answer the following question. I know that a lot of parents coming from the primary school with regards to English, where the foundation is laid as far as basic reading and writing skills and grammar skills obviously are concerned. So the question about that typical drills that we have, the tense drills, I am, he, she, it is, they are, etc., that foundation we expect to be covered in the primary school. So then when they move into grade 8 and 9, and then of course the AS and the A levels, language becomes much more about the critical analysis of certain texts that we get. So perhaps, Johan, you can just say something about the AS syllabus with regards to the difference, the basic language constructions that we know, sentence construction, punctuation, spelling, all of that, although we cover that syllabus. Perhaps you can just say on the overall focus that we have with regards to the language analysis, because I think that is a skill that will benefit learners in all their subjects and not just in a language.
Right, so on the AS level now, we focus a lot on analysis, as you said, ma'am. We focus on the linguistics and how the things that were written in our extracts create meaning, and how they fit into where they're written. So anything that has a deeper meaning, and we can analyze more, and how these things all fit together to create a better or a good extract for us to read. So that's basically the analysis part. Yeah.
And Louise, can I chip in here?
So we've run out of time for this section, but we can finalize a little bit.
Okay,
We have a lot of questions on
yes,
the
I
slide
see.
here. I'm going to
Yeah.
answer them
Okay.
as we go through.
Okay, just maybe one quick thing. My home language is Afrikaans. I would let my child do French. We speak it at home. I would recommend French at school. Language of instruction, obviously English. If you move on to A levels, I think it's Johan or Tian earlier said we don't offer Afrikaans on A level. It's English. The popular combination for A level is very often English being one of them. The very important thing to remember in South Africa, if you don't know this, our universities still require 2 languages, whether it's English and Afrikaans or English and French or whatever, it does not matter. It needs to be 2. But foreign universities, most of them require 1 language. So if you're going to definitely choose the path to go overseas, I would do English and French, up to IGCSE levels and then drop it. That would be it. And Louise, I think I've covered a few of those questions now in one.
Yes, I'm going to type some answers, but we can take them up again towards the later Q&A. And I think something that's come up with some of these questions is that can a student do both? And I think that was covered by one of our students. Yes, they can still keep their Afrikaans on an IGCSE qualification along with their French. So I think that should conclude most of the questions. And the one with French or Afrikaans is advisable for foreign studies. It's not a minimum subject requirement, but French is more international type of language. But like I said, you can keep both of those languages for some options. And with that, I would like to conclude this session. I really would like to thank our students, Chidima, Tian, and Johan, for joining us, and Ma'am Rinaldi and Luke. Thank you very much. I think this was a nice session for the languages. And then we'll move on to the next section there. So next up, we've got our Commerce Department. And I would just like to play a presentation before they open up with their Q&A. And on their Q&A, we've got Mrs. Melissa Weideman and student Joy Haslau that will be answering your questions on our commerce subjects.
I don't think I should switch the camera on and switch your camera. Put it on. Okay.
Okay, just.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Commerce Department, where you can become the next big thing in accounting, economics, and business. My name is Mrs. Weideman, and I will be your future. In accounting, we focus on recording transactions and preparing financial statements, auditors' tests, performance of business. If you want to be a CA, auditor, or chief financial officer, I will see you in the accounting class.
Hello everybody, my name is Mrs. Rita Verheerden and I will be your future economics teacher. In economics, focus on micro and macroeconomics, giving you all a view of daily relevant aspects and how it affects you as an individual and our own economy. If you want to become a data analyst, a financial consultant, or an economist, I will see you in economics.
Hello everybody, my name is Mrs. Lizande Costumes and I am your future business teacher. In business, we focus on the main functions in a business and how to use the knowledge of the business environment to run a business, to achieve mutual benefits and of course, profit. If you want to become a marketing manager, a financial manager, or a chief executive officer, I'll see you in business. This is Bob. Bob knows how to become the money. He's taking economics, accounting, and business.
Can't hear anything.
Thank you. Mrs. Weideman, I don't know if you would like to introduce yourself, and then Student Joy, you're also welcome to introduce yourself to warm up some questions.
So thank you, Anne-Louise. Can I go ahead, Anne-Louise?
Yes, you're welcome to.
Good morning, parents. Just from the commerce side, we introduce accounting, economics, and business studies already in grade 8. We want to provide our students with a feel for every subject so that they can make a well-informed decision when they choose subjects at the end of grade 8. We also focus to provide each student with some basic knowledge of finance and economics, because we believe that it is important for all students to have some financial knowledge as they go into their adult world, so that they can manage their personal finances one day successfully. And we also try and teach our learners to love accounting, economics, and business. And we also try and make our learning in class as fun as possible. Thank you.
Joy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, can you see me? Hello?
There you are.
Oh, okay, hi. My name is Joy Hlatuayo. I am currently taking A-level, which includes accounting and economics. I have been doing those subjects for 5 years now from grade 8, and I have a very good foundation. Not only that, but also a very good relationship with the subjects because of my teachers. And although it is the commerce field, it does not necessarily focus on that. Like, we also have critical thinking skills and application for the real world in preparation for tertiary. So yes.
Thank you very much. We're just waiting for some questions to come up. I'm not sure if that presentation was clear to everyone. I see there were some comments on the mic and the sound. Melissa, if you maybe want to just quickly, briefly explain the subjects we offer on the commerce side.
Melissa's on mute.
Sorry. Yes, in the commerce department, we actually have accounting, economics, and business. In accounting, we mainly focus on the bookkeeping function, eventually teaching students the skills of reporting financial results by preparing income statements and balance sheets. So that's mainly the focus for accounting. In business, they focus on the business environment, people in the organization and marketing, financing and accounting, and also strategic management. I think in economics, Joy would be able to give you a very good background on all the skills that will be acquired through the economics syllabus.
All right, for the economics syllabus, for IGs, it's focused on gaining the basics of macroeconomics and microeconomics. I won't go in depth because then I would be dissecting the syllabus and the curriculum. However, we learn about the internal aspects of economics within a market, and then we expand and learn about how economics works on a global perspective. Now, since we do an international curriculum, it is not focused just mainly on South Africa. A lot of the case studies and a lot of the content we use is diversified and it's spread across a global scale. So a lot of the information we learn to use and to apply from a broad perspective. And by laying that foundation, we're able to think critically, but not just for a closed environment, on a global perspective. And then when we transform and we go to AS and A-level syllabus, we then elaborate further on that, and we learn more about theories and how things are the way they are within economics, the functions and the structure of economics. And it is a huge leap, but it is a definite build on from the knowledge from IGs. I will say that it is not difficult if you have not had economics for IG level to pick it up when you start your AS. We've had a student do that who is one of my friends, and they thrived completely. After all, it is about concentrating and staying focused and doing your studies, and you achieve anything you want to achieve. So yes, thank you.
Okay. If I may chip in here, Joy, do you want to say something on your IPQ research project?
Pardon, sir?
Okay. Do you want to say something on the IPQ?
Oh, okay, I'd love to.
Okay,
so
go.
Currently, the IPQ project is a Cambridge International Project Qualification. That's what IPQ stands for. And like Sir said in the introduction, it is an extra A-level qualification. However, it's not a subject where you study for it. You literally do research, and you have to pick a topic in the form of a question that you're going to do research on. And because I am in the commerce, mine had to do with education, and my topic question was, how does the education system influence future prospects of the South African economy? And in doing my research, you have your primary research where you use journals, articles, links from all over, all sources, but it's information that's already out there and it exists. And you use it to compile your literature review, which is information you've gathered around your topic. And then you do your secondary research, which is research that you'll be doing on your own. So it hasn't been done and you're trying to solve something, or you're trying to answer the question that you have posed for Cambridge to mark as part of your IPQ. And so, Mr. Moya, one source of my secondary research was to interview principals of different schools from different areas. How that can contribute to my research is finding out how different curriculums and syllabi help a child, mainly from in high school, how it helps them transform from high school to tertiary, and whether or not their education is strong enough or adequate and internationally competitive enough to send them to vast horizons. So I've interviewed Mr. Moya, and I've interviewed some other principals from schools that are remedial, home schools. I have an interview soon with a school we've just collided with, which is Eagle House. And interviewing and hearing how different curriculums work and how different syllabi work and how the students are taught and how it applies and how the social aspects contribute to a child's education. Personally, during my journey of the research has taught me so much, not only about the school that I go to, but the education quality that I receive from Alma Mater International. It is definitely at the top, I would say, with my opinion, when it comes to international compatibility. We have opportunities to apply abroad, to do internships during high school that are at university level. And like Ma'am Rinaldi said, that takes grit and it takes the ability and the tenacity of having critical thinking skills. And with doing the IPQ project in the commerce field, I am able to apply knowledge that I have learned myself in my examinations. And that is very much required in A-level economic, because they're not only testing textbook, they want to see if you're able to be relevant with what's happening economically with what the question is asking you. So briefly, that is IPQ, and specifically to my IPQ question. Thank you.
Thank you. Some great comments.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you.
Some great comments coming in here, Joy. They are very impressed with how well spoken and how well you're able to express yourself on your topic. So thank you for that. Sorry, Melissa, just a quick question. There was it's not really related, but how many subjects we offer on the grade 8 level? Maybe if you want to explain how the grade 8 curriculum is provided on the commerce side.
Yes, together with English, maths, and then probably your Afrikaans as an additional language or French as a foreign language. We then have all 3 commerce subjects, business, accounting, and economics. And then together with all the other fields like DT, geography, ICT, I believe that makes up most of our curriculum. I'm not sure about the IPQs and all of that in grade 8. But from an academic subject point of view, it includes all those subjects.
I've posted up our subject choice form to that parent to have a look at the amount of subjects. We'll answer the subject choices a bit more in detail on the Q&A later on. I think with the 3 commerce subjects, just how it's presented in grade 8, if you want to elaborate on that.
All right, so for accounting, we normally have about 2 to 3 periods during a week. So the students do learn the full accounting function already in grade 8. So when they finish with grade 8, they are actually capable of maintaining the books of a small business. So they actually do learn quite a lot there already. Economics and then accounting actually runs through the whole year. Economics and business is split 6 months each. And then they also have a basic introduction for economics and for business, where they then also focus on the micro and the macroeconomics, and for the business, all the different types of businesses, as well as people in business and so on. So then all in all, students have a very nice idea about each of those individual 3 subjects, and they can then make a decision based on their field of interest.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Mrs. Weideman and Joy, for your session. I think it was very informative, and for throwing in the IPQ there. Thank you for that, Joy.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, I just saw a question there. Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to the next section, which should be your mathematics and science. We've got a live Q&A or a live presentation from the mathematics teacher. I'm just going to first start with, hopefully the sound is adequate on the science video. If not, I do excuse you. Welcome to prompt me, one of the staff members, and I'll stop the video and then we can just do a basic Q&A on the science.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, Gracian. So I'm just gonna, do you want to first do your presentation and then I'll show the science video?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome to go ahead, Gracian.
Thank you. Good morning, parents and future students. Welcome to Alma Mater Mathematics Department. My name is Mr. Chimanda, and my first name is Gracian. So mathematics still remains as one of the traditional and fundamental subjects in the world, as all other subjects are fading and or adapting to the technological world. So it is therefore our primary objective here at Alma Mater Mathematics Department to develop and instill the basic principles and concepts of mathematics into our students. We also train our students the skill of balance between speed at which they solve problems and the accuracy required to pass career-defining examinations. This is a skill they will forever apply in life or further studies. The curriculum we teach here is the Cambridge International Examination and is recognized internationally. It is tailor-made for students to choose their respective career paths in life. So at matric level, the students can differentiate into statistics, mechanics, and pure mathematics, with mechanics being fundamental in engineering, medicine, and architecture. And we also have statistics, which is found in all research in all universities, especially projects and dissertations, even up to PhD levels. So we also have pure maths, which is found in economics, finance, design, and technology. So most of our A-level material we study here is found in either first year or even second year modules in most universities across the world. But however, in our mathematics department, our framework is based on attitude to learning. This is what we mean the eagerness of a child to learn. So in our department, we promote this eagerness and the zeal to learn. We simply drive the curiosity, and our objective is to sharpen the mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Grosh and Chimanda. I'm going to just share a quick video. I'm going to fade it out. It's quite long, just on the science, and then we'll move on to Q&A.
Today we're doing a titration with hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide, and we've got bromophenol blue indicator. It will change from this yellow color to the purple color once it is neutralized. Okay, so a little bit. And we do this when we have an unknown concentration of acid, for instance, and then we use more calculations to find the concentration. So this is your end product, and now you know it's neutralized.
This experiment is a gas volumetric experiment to determine the concentration of either or the amount of calcium carbonate or either the concentration of hydrochloric acid. So in this experiment, we have approximately 1 gram of calcium carbonate and 1 molar hydrochloric acid. So you insert the delivery tube into the measuring cylinder. You can lower the cylinder a bit so that it's fastened to the start, so that once the gas is evolved to the measuring cylinder, it does not escape, so you can have accurate measurements. So this is an acid-base reaction, which would give us a salt, water, and carbon dioxide. Once the bubbles have stopped, you can accurately measure the volume of water displaced, and you can either measure the molar amount of calcium carbonate or the concentration of hydrochloric acid.
Okay, so this is calcium carbonate, and we are trying to test for the presence of carbonate ion. All right, so if we didn't know what this was, we were trying to test for the carbonate ion. We can react it with an acid, like hydrochloric acid, okay? And the reaction between the calcium carbonate and the hydrochloric acid will give us carbon dioxide bubbles. And to test that it is carbon dioxide bubbles being produced, we bubble the bubbles through lime water. And you can see now that it's clear. And once we pass lime water, carbon dioxide bubbles through here, turn on. You see the bubbles, and the lime water is turning milky, indicating that there's the carbonate ion present.
Hi, I'm Sandra now. I'm currently busy with my IGCSE syllabus, and I'm in year 2. Today we will be doing an experiment to test saturation. In here we have two substances, substance A and substance B. Now let's say we didn't know what these substances are. We would have to more or less see what it is. Substance A we now actually know is ethene. Ethene has a single bond, where substance B is actually ethene and this is ethane. This has a double bond. When we test these by adding a little bit of bromine water, we will see a reaction occur which tells us whether it is saturated or unsaturated. Let's just use it like this. If we take substance A, which is saturated, and we mix it, we will see that there is no reaction. This is due to the fact that there is only a single bond and there is no place for the bromine molecules in this molecule. However, if we take substance B, which is ethene, we will see that it changed color from this brown orange color to colorless. This is due to the fact that the ethene has a double bond. This double bond can then split open to allow the spaces for the two bromine molecules to join in. We will now have dibromoethene, and that is how we test for unsaturation.
Hi everyone, my name is Shane Jones. I'm in grade 10. This is currently my second year of IGCSE. Today we're going to be doing two tests. We're doing the test for hydrogen and we're doing the test for oxygen. So at first we're going to do the test for hydrogen. So during our experiment, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using hydrochloric acid, which is HCl, and magnesium. Right now we're just going to be using a magnesium ribbon. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to fill up. There you go. Now we add magnesium strip ribbon. But before we do that, we're going to light our splint. What we're looking for here for the test of hydrogen is a nice loud pop. So we throw in magnesium ribbon. You should see a small amount of bubbling. You should hear nice loud pop. And that's hydrogen. So what happens here is magnesium reacts with hydrochloric acid to produce magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. The reaction between that loud pop, what you heard, was oxygen reacting with hydrogen to produce water.
Oh, you can stand, it's fine.
Since that is our test for hydrogen done, we're now going to be doing the test for oxygen. So this is, in right here, we have hydrogen peroxide. Now hydrogen peroxide is a very reactive chemical. And when it reacts with manganese dioxide, which is this little black powder right here, it actually doesn't react. Manganese dioxide actually decomposes H2O2. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this in really fast, and then we're going to close it with a stopper. Immediately add it in, close it with a stopper. Now what we've got to quickly do is we've got to light this before that stopper pops. So as you can see, we have a glowing splint right here. We're going to unlight it, and it relights. And that is a successful test for oxygen.
Right, guys, I've got a heart here.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to stop that video there. That video has also been shared just to display the sciences side. And then we're going to hand over to Mr. Chimanda, and then he's got two students joining him for any Q&A, Zoe Da Silva and Luke Jacobs. So I'm going to hand over to you if there's anything you would like to add. We're just waiting for some questions to come in.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, we'll just have to, we can wait for the questions if there's anything to ask.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Chimanda. If I may ask the students just to introduce themselves.
Morning, everyone. My name's Zoe. I'm currently a grade 11 student. I'm completing my AS levels this year. I have 6 AS levels, and I'm really looking forward to the next 2 years.
Thank you, Zoe.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Luke. I'm a grade 11 AS student as well, taking chemistry as one of my 6 subjects. We always laugh and say that chemistry is like cooking, just don't lick the spoon. And it's so true. It requires a lot of precision and accuracy, but it's still, the results are amazing. And it's one of my favorite subjects, definitely.
Thank you very much for that, students. So we're glad to have you here as well. Our science department is just currently busy with some lessons, and Mr. Chimanda is on his way as well. So we've got the first question there. Yeah, I'm going to answer a part of this, and then I'll hand over to our panelists on the math and science side. Could a student do math lit in grade 9 and turn transfer to math core in grade 10? Will a student miss out anything if transfer? Just to make clear, we as a Cambridge school, we do not offer math lit. It's mathematics. We do have a math core option that we do not generally recommend to students. Mr. Gratian, I don't know if it's a little bit more technical, if you want to add anything to that.
Yes, like you mentioned, we don't do maths literacy, and with math literacy, there's a bit of no technicality. It's basically some interest, calculation of interest, and the daily mathematics, which is different from the technical and core mathematics that we teach as a basic concept. But if they would want to do core mathematics, it means they would have also to give a little bit of more extra work to do core mathematics. Otherwise, the transition from maths literacy to mathematics, like the extended that we do here, will be a little bit of a challenge. But if they can adapt to core mathematics, then it would also need them to have that attitude to learn, and we will help to the best of our abilities.
Thank you, Mr. Chimanda. Does any of the students want to add sort of how you've been finding the sciences and maths at Alma Mater?
I definitely think that Mr. Chimanda is right about moving from lit and core to extended. I took extended on IGs, as most of our students do, and even I'm really challenging myself in AS now, because it is quite a jump from IGs to AS and A level, but our teachers always try their best to make sure that we are all adequately helped in any way that we need, so that none of us really fall behind.
Thank you, Zoe. Okay, we don't have any. Look, yes.
I'd just like to add the science side. I took all of the sciences, math, chemistry, biology, and physics on IG levels, as well as AS level, which I'm busy with now. And I must admit that there is quite a big jump between IG and AS, which everybody says and warns you about. But with the teachers that we have, that jump is made a lot more easy. It's a lot easier with the teachers and the help that we have, and we can always go and speak to our fellow students. Like if somebody gets a topic that we don't, we can always go and ask around. I mean, everybody's willing to help anybody, which is very, very helpful. So yeah.
Thank you very much, students, for your input there. Just a question that is also coming in. What is the expected pass mark for mathematics? I don't know if any of our management would like to chip in there.
For mathematics, it depends on the grade, right? But because if we are at A level, an E itself is a pass. So basically it's 40% and above. That's where the pass starts. So we have levels where an A is 80% to 90%. Then we have an A star, which is 90% to 100%. Then we have a B, which is 70 to 80%. Then we have a C, which is 60 to 70. Then we have a D, which is 50 to 60. So the pass mark are a little bit high, just because of the standard and the standard of the curriculum. So that's basically, because in other curriculums, if you get a 50%, maybe you get a C. But with Cambridge, you get a D. But still, you would have passed. So the pass mark starts at 40%. That's when you have an E. But we always try to make sure that, okay, an E is it is the threshold of passing. We want to, or the benchmark, we want to lift you up there to be able to be in the 80s or 70s, depending on capability.
Thank you, Mr. Chimana. I think that was well answered on that question. I don't know if one of the students just want to introduce the sciences that we offer that are pure sciences that is very different to the normal curriculum in South Africa.
So we offer physics, AS and IG level. We offer chemistry as well, IG and AS level, and A levels for all of the sciences, and biology. And I take all three of them, and I'm enjoying them a lot. And what's useful is that a lot of the IG curriculum passes over to AS. It's just a lot more in depth. So a lot of the stuff you already know, which comes in very handy, and then the teachers will just add on some more. Most of the topics we all know and understand, and we do a lot of practicals as well. So we can get the practical side of these sciences, which is very handy, especially if you want to go into the industry or whatever. So having the practicals as well as the theoretical side gives a good grounding for all of the sciences.
If I can add to that.
Yes, you're welcome, Gretchen, and then I'll cue you, Zoe. I see you want to say something as well.
Okay. The good part about our school is that in some traditional schools, they start their practicals whenever, like say in the last year of matric or just a year before. But here we start our practicals at a very early stage, like just after grade 8, which is advantageous because students will have, most students are more theoretical and academic, but we put the practical perspective of it, as you have seen on the videos, that students actually get to test rather than just getting from a textbook and being theoretically informed. They also want to do practical. So we started at an early stage, and given this pandemic that we have had, I mean, it has shown us that the more practical side of science is needed than just the theoretical part of it. So that's, I think, the best thing that our school can offer, that immediately if you enter grade 8, they will start their practicals as we go up to A level.
Thank you, Mr. Chimanda. Zoe, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, just back onto the practicals, especially in AS and A level, we really start to emphasize the practicals because it helps us get a real world understanding of our theoretical work. So in physics, we can do any practical ranging from motion to pendulums, oscillations. This all relates back to our theoretical work, and it helps us to just get an understanding of the whole picture instead of just bits and pieces. The same can go for biology and chemistry. In biology, we generally have two different types of practicals. One would be a more chemical practical, which normally relates to food tests and using chemicals in beakers and test tubes. And then the second question for our exam is generally a microscope question. So we learn how to manipulate all the equipment that we need, and we practice a lot. We all have at least one practical period a week so that we are never far behind on our practical skills. Chemistry pracs can range from titrations, as you saw in the beginning video, testing for ions. A lot of it is color changing, which can be quite difficult, but we are always assisted in everything that we need.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Zoe, for that. It was very informative. And Luke, very informative on the sciences. A question that I think, Luke, you answered was just, do we combine the sciences? And the answer there is no, it's standalone subjects. Physics, chemistry, and biology is standalone. And as we come to the end of this section, I thank you, Mr. Chimanda, and our students, Luke and Zoe. This is a great section for the sciences and maths. And we're now going to move on to our computer science, geography, and DT section. So thank you very much for your information there.
Thank you.
I'm going to, some of our teachers are, like I said, busy with lessons currently. So some introduction videos that we have to display, and then I'm going to hand over to our computer science teacher, Adele Posthumus. Let me just quickly play those videos. And like I said, if the sound is soft, I do apologize. You can prompt me to, to stop that if you want, Adele. Let me just quickly screen share.
Welcome to Alma.
I do apologize if the sound on that, we'll look into the videos. Sorry about that, Adele. If I can maybe hand over to you if you want to do a live introduction to computer science.
Good morning, everybody. Just to give you an introduction, the two teachers you just saw is Mr. Ilan van Staden and Mrs. Peter Hoffman. Mr. van Staden is one of our geography teachers, and he spoke about what we learn in geography, and the same with Mrs. Peter Hoffman. She's our design and technology teacher. Those of you who are a bit older like me will understand the subject a bit better as what we did, technical drawing. So there's two components to it, some technical drawing and design and so on. And we will look into the sound of those videos. Good morning, everybody. My name is Mrs. Adele Posthumus, and I am a computer science teacher at the high school. Computer science is a subject that teaches many important and sought after skills like critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity. It can be used in absolutely any subject, any field of work or study, as it brings everything together. And those subjects that it covers things like scientific research, health development, transport, banking, communications, and it's even used when we put a man on the moon. Nowadays, many objects and devices use computer science to operate, from our fridges and our microwave ovens, our television sets, even our door locks and our vehicles use computerized smart equipment. Let me tell you, those things are only smart because a computer scientist programmed them to be smart. Career opportunities in computer science is very broad, as all industries require technical and even just general computer expertise, from programmers to web developers, database and security experts to IT managers and network architects. Computer science can literally help you do any job better and faster, giving you a competitive advantage. I can't wait to have you, or if you are a parent, your children in class to teach them all computer science has to offer. Thank you, Anne-Louise.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Posthumus. With you, we've got some students there to answer any questions. We've got Etienne Swart on design and technology, Adele Janssen on geography, and Christian Ferry on computer science. You're welcome to introduce yourself, starting with Christian Ferry.
Hello everyone, my name is Christian Ferry. I am a grade 11 student at the Alma Mater High School. I take 3 A-levels and 2 AS subjects, computer science being one of my A-levels. The reason I took A-level computer science is because, as you can see, everything is going technological and virtual. This is our first virtual open day, one of many, I hope. And I think in the new age that we live in, one cannot afford to not be caught up with your computer science knowledge. Many careers now use software and hardware to replace people. It's just the harsh reality of the world. So I really think that computer science is not only a good choice, but a wise choice. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Christian. If I can cue Etienne Swart on design and technology.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Etienne Swart, and I am representing design and technology. I take it as an AS level, and I've been taking it for 4 years now. With design and technology, as the name implies, it is design involving the architecture of buildings, of many vast landscapes and that. Technology involving the hardware of your phones, to ranging from how you interact with your phone, how you interact with many technologies of the day. For instance, it took about a team to understand how would the common person use a single phone. They would like to have easy access. They would like to have the camera available all the time without very few glitches and minor malfunctions. This kind of went through computer science. This went through design and technology. This went through the business side as well. But in the end, design technology is the main core of many industries and many vast landscapes of architecture and design. So as I will be representing today, I will be answering any questions here. I'm glad to look forward to any A-level or AS level, IGs as well, DT students. I hope they will understand that this is a subject that requires passion, and to understand that the technical side of it, drawing, is the most important part. But the theory, to understand how you could answer many of the problems today involving design and technology, is also important. Thank you.
That's a wonderful passion there. Thank you so much, Etienne. Adele Janssen on geography.
Hello, everyone. I am Adele Janssen, and I'm a student at Alma Mater High School. I'm currently taking 3 A-levels, which is English, Geography, and Computer Science. I chose geography because it's a well-respected subject in general worldwide. In geography, we deal with vital issues, including social, environmental, natural, and climate. Geography, we deal with the day-to-day things that happen in our life, including political and just the climate in general. So I find it as a very useful subject, and it's lots of studying. It's more understanding and studying, but I really enjoy it, and I can see it really helping you a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Adele. Mrs. Posthumus, is there anything you would like to add while we wait for the parents to warm up to some questions?
I can only speak on behalf of computer science. I don't know the other subjects in much depth, so I didn't speak about our curriculum and our syllabus really in the introduction that I've given previously. But we do start our grade 8s with computer science. They have 2 computer-related subjects in grade 8. So they have ICT, which is short for Information and Communications Technologies. In ICT, we teach computer interaction. So you learn how to use a computer. Obviously, many of our students are past that stage now, especially with technology evolving so fast, and 2 years old babies can handle cell phones these days, and they know where to click to get to YouTube and so on. So grade 8, we cover a broader spectrum with ensuring that they can use all the platforms that we are offering. As Mr. Moya said earlier on, we use Teams to be able to use that optimally, to know how to submit things, and the whole range of the Office suite of products, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and so forth. We also touch on the basics of web development, research, and how you research something, how you reference certain things so that you don't commit plagiarism, or that you don't break copyright of certain items. And then we also do computer science from grade 8. So grade 8, we do an introduction for our students to choose subjects at the end of grade 9 so that they know what all of those subjects are about. ICT, you can't continue with beyond grade 8. So we continue with computer science after grade 8. And the difference between ICT and computer science is, as I said, ICT teaches you how to use a computer, and computer science teaches you how a computer works, what are the components inside a computer, and how to program those parts in order to do what you want a computer to do. And then we go onto more advanced levels, building on the basics onto AS and A level. We learn a physical actual programming language. We have 3 different ones that we can use in according to the Cambridge syllabus. The current students are mostly using Python as a programming language, but we can also teach Delphi and Visual Basic. And the newer syllabus, higher up to A level, now offers Java as well. But we have chosen Python as we feel that students are most comfortable with that, and it is a fairly easy language to learn.
Thank you, Adele. That's always a question I get. I'm glad that you're answering the computer language that we use. Mr. Moya, it seems like you want to say something. Okay.
No, thank you. When it comes to that, I just listen. Thank you very much.
From my side, there's no questions coming up on the subjects. I don't know, Etienne, if you want to maybe tell us what you are going to study next year. I think that's an interesting topic to discuss while we have a little bit of time.
To answer your question, Anna Louise, what I'm looking forward to studying is multimedia design and software design, and a nuclear physicist engineer and scientist. The reason I am aiming for multimedia design is that it approaches a lot of the game industry as well as the software industry. So many of the programs you use today, as like Google, involving computer science, even though I'm not representing it. I have been taking it for 4 years now, since grade 8 to grade 10 for IGs, and since grade 11 to grade 12, I've been doing AS computer science. If you would like to approach more for computer science, you can gladly ask Christian. But to answer for my aims is that what I would like to aim for is to create a software that can solve many of problems of the day. For instance, poverty. For any massive areas of poverty, I'd love to be able to integrate geography and satellite navigation, and that to be able to locate and interesting. But that is my personal goal. If you would like to ask anything about DT, for instance, the curriculum, you can feel free to gladly to ask. As people forget to understand, with DT, design and technology, in grade 8 all the way to grade 10, the students are required to understand that the main important aspect is drawing, technical wise. Theory is an important part, but they both complement each other, and so that you will be asked to, as how you can draw blueprints involving all the required different lines, ranging from space lines, cut lines, section lines, and then to the non-existent lines, and involving this how you can create your own designs. After grade 8, you'll go to grade 9, where you'll be introduced to more of the theory. Theory being that so you'll start learning for more shapes, for more objects and for more of the, well, as I said, technical side. And then you'll be introduced to the design. Design is, is involving how does the person interact with one another and all the vast materials that is there, so being woods, plastics, and metals. Grade 10, you'll be tested on your vast knowledge now that you have accumulated at grade 9, 8 and 9 on your drawing aspects, filling in certain areas of shapes, of drawings. Will you be able to answer certain questions? For instance, would you be able to draw the full diagram using only a certain amount of lines and be able to explain of certain parts, say this is 500 millimeters in diameter by only using the number 500 and then the circle diameter for the symbol. That's when grade 10 and 8 and 9, then that is IGCs. Once IGCs are over, grade 11 and 12 will be involving the next step. The next step is you'll be tested now, will be able to solve. So for instance, many of today's world involved in the market industry, you're required to be able to solve any answers of questions. So for instance, if you want to create a new product that can solve many of the handicapped personnel that, you would be able to ask, say, can you create a arm or a prosthetic limb? You would then have to take into account what materials would be needed, what the dimensions are like. And then for the theory part, you'll be able to have the two people to discuss the whole entire safety-wise of that, what you were doing. So for instance, how to build a whole entire phone, you would require going to a 10-step plan involving all the materials, the safety measures, the precautions and all that. That is then for a grade 12 AS level. That is all there is. There is not that many students for A level, so it's not really introduced that much. But with A level expands much more further, involving the net and grit of design and technology. But as said before, I would love to see many of the students of today and that understand that architecture and that is a very important part of society as well as technology. So I look forward to see what many future generations will be able to come with. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Etienne. Very informative on the design and technology, and again, a lot of passion there. I see Mr. Moy has answered the IPQ question, if any of these students are doing the IPQ currently. I don't know if one of them are busy with that. Christian.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the opportunity. I am currently doing the IPQ syllabus. I'm going to send my project at the end of 2021 and not in the middle of the year. But my topic is rather a physics-related topic. I'm going into not only nuclear power energy, but non-renewable power energy, and trying to see how effectively we can convert from non-renewables to renewables, because non-renewables inevitably will run out. And that's a problem I'd rather fix now than having rush it in the future, because that's just the road to disaster. So my IPQ topic is non-renewables and nuclear energy. It's also a subject I'm very passionate about. Not much of my information is intertwined with computer science, but that is just the topic that I chose to go with. So thank you.
Thank you, Christian. I don't see any more questions coming up subject related. I've just got let me just go back there. I'm trying to answer this one. There's another one. Thank you. We're receiving an introduction to sports and cultural. So the next session would be on the cultural side, and then we'll answer any questions you've got on the sports there. The sports, we do have a list of sports offered in the high school on the website that you can have a look at as well. I think that we're going to move on to the next session. I really do appreciate the students' time. Thank you for your introductions and for a nice informative introduction to the subjects. Sorry, this is one question coming in before we move on. Can one take a combination of science, math, and computer science?
And Louise, maybe Ma'am Miranda must answer that one for us.
Okay, we can maybe do that on the Q&A at the end. Let me say thanks to Ma'am Posthumous for your introduction and for the students for your time. I really appreciate that. Christian, you've got your hand raised.
Sorry, just regarding the previously raised question, I do that. I take mathematics, physics, and computer science, and I also take English on the AS level. So yes, that is a possibility and quite a good option in my opinion.
Thank you for that, Christian. Okay, so we're going to move on to the cultural presentation. Ma'am Kerry-Ann Bloktat has created a presentation for us, and then she'll be available for a live Q&A. Let me quickly play that for you. Sorry if that was too fast. You're welcome to chip in there, Kerry-Ann. If I may hand over to you just to introduce yourself. I'm Kerry-Ann Bloktat.
Thank you, Anne-Louise, for the introduction. Yes, just a very quick little slideshow I just put together, nothing big, just to give you a little small introduction of what we do here at Alma Mater. I think first and foremost, and most importantly, the drive of our school is simply to consider the idea of theatre and all cultural aspects as something that is building of a student's confidence, building of their ability to think with a degree of empathy, with a degree of understanding other human beings. So we definitely advocate participation. Sorry, we definitely advocate participation in our cultural activities. I'll go through what we do in a moment. But the reason we do so is just because every student, in our opinion, has a wonderful sense of growth and have something personal that they each receive from their participation in our cultural program. So here at Alma Mater in the high school, as said in our in the little PowerPoint presentation, we are all about quality here. So when we do present anything of any cultural aspect, it is always about quality first. It is always about quality in terms of doing it as live as possible. We often book out the Roodepoort Theatre where we like to perform. If we don't have that, we have professional sound and lighting companies that accommodate our school hall or participate in our plays. We have professional musicians. We really try and give our learners and our parents a full-scale musical production or very near to professional dramatic or comic productions. We really enjoy doing them. Our students take pride in doing them well, and we always encourage support of what our students do. So how this works is we do it every second year. We allow our students the opportunity to perform or to audition in something like that, where we'll then be directed, well, the students will then be directed by myself or some of my colleagues and we enjoy a wonderful, let's say a full school participation in this, because we like to get some of our students involved in the costuming and in the lighting, some of our students in terms of staging the event. So for the most of it, it's not only just enjoyed by those students who love performing as such, but also those students in our DT and in our art departments that enjoy participating. So we really do believe that we accommodate more students than is just essential on stage. We also utilize the services of all of our musical students. So those are all positives, and something that it's a small contribution we feel we make towards every little individual, and allowing their parents and their loved ones an opportunity to see them blossom and bloom in their various passions that they have in life. Then every alternative year, our school also have a cultural week. So we spend that wonderful week almost in an Eisteddfod form of culture. Students are allowed to participate in any artistic genre, ranging from singing to dancing to acting to a short play. They're able to participate as a group or as a soloist. And then they basically they have external adjudication, and they'll be adjudicated according to decent standardization. And they are given very decent accolades, I would say, at our end of year prize giving. Every one of our students are not only praised for their participation or how well they've done at the Eisteddfod or during their plays, but they're always given certificates to show that we appreciate and have noticed their growth or their participation or their absolute blossoming on stage at our end of year prize giving. So we're rather proud of that. Here at Alma Mater, we know that our focus is always academic, but we never neglect those wonderful internal little aspects that each of our learners so vitally need. For those of us, or those of our students who also love participating in public speaking, we allow them an opportunity to join the public speaking competition every year. So they're allowed to join through the Public Speaking Speech and Drama College of South Africa. They join those competitions. We've really had some wonderful speakers this past year and some incredible results. And yeah, I think our students absolutely grow from that, whether your child or you yourself are able to join more competitively, or whether or not you'd like to do public speaking as something that is just enriching for you. We allow absolute, well, we commit ourselves to all of those forms of participation.
Thank you, Mrs. Blockdyke. I think that was very informative on the cultural side. I don't see any questions coming up. I don't know if someone would like to add on the sports side at Alma Mater High School.
Thank you, ma'am, and Louise.
Ma'am Miranda.
Good morning, everybody, parents and students. It's a lovely morning. Let me just say a few things on the sports side. What we offer at Alma, we offer rugby, soccer, swimming, and netball. Our girls are really excelling in the netball. Most of the times they are league winners, so we are really extremely proud of them. The same with our rugby. James, I don't know if you would like to add anything, but that's what we offer. Normally at the beginning of the year, from January, it's the swimming. Then in the middle of the year, August, September is our athletics. And then the netball and the rugby is in the winter time. We normally start practicing from March, and then we finish those leagues around June, July. We stop with all the netball and rugby.
Maybe, Miranda, I can just add that we have a full sports department. I think we've got 5 or 6 full-time coaches on campus all the time. So yes, what we try to do is our teachers to specialize. Very few of our teachers are actually involved in sports and culture. We leave it up to the specialists. Mrs. Blockdyke, yes, English teacher, but also very involved in the culture side. But otherwise, virtually 100% of our sport is taken care of by our sports department. We do have all the facilities. If you do think your child is going to be a Springbok rugby player, then maybe not our school. We do play competitively. I enjoy the rugby every year, but we definitely not one of the top rugby schools in South Africa. Regarding the netball, I do believe we punch above our weight. We've got lovely coaches, they're ex-Springboks. They've been with our school for many years. I'm very proud of our netball achievements. We probably need to add a few more netball courts because it is so popular. But yes, I think that's regarding the sport. Thank you very much, Mara and Louise.
Just a few questions on the cultural side is towards music. They wanted to know if we offer musical instruments and music on its own. I don't know who would want to opt to answer that one first.
We don't offer that as a subject. If they're looking for it as a subject, and Louise, no. However, we do have some experts on property in which your students and parents can book their children in to take lessons. And I do know that Rudy, one of the coaches, is well equipped to take those students through UNISA and Trinity examinations. So if they'd like to do that, I know he has an arrangement of instrumentation that he does give. So yes, there's absolutely, it can be arranged.
And that's available on the campus as well.
That's
You're
right,
welcome
right.
to correct me. Well, then just moving on to the sports questions again there. Are there any sports camps?
Yes, yearly we offer a netball or a rugby camp. Yes, we do offer that. That normally takes place either in our midterm break or the April school holidays. The first week of the April school holidays, those camps take place.
Thank you, Ma'am Miranda. Then I just want to add the basketball team has been performing quite well. You're welcome to chip in there, Mr. Moya.
Yes, basketball is new to the school. I think we started last year or the year before last. It's very, very popular, growing tremendously. But yeah, during COVID, it has been quiet. But I'm sure next year we'll be at it again. I love basketball. I think it fits in perfectly with our type of school. I think it still needs to pick up a bit of speed amongst the girls, but definitely very popular with the boys. Thank you.
Thank you. Then some more sports questions. Do you have tennis as part of school sports?
May I just respond there? I do know that I have seen the local Noordheuwel Tennis Club coach. I know that on request, he comes through to Alma Mater and can give private tuition or group lessons, but it does depend on the amount of students he can get. So I do know Marcel. I think he's part of Tennis for You. I'm not sure his company name, but he runs at the Kadima Noordheuwel Club. So because I've had my own students there and Louise, I know him well and I've seen him here quite often. So I think it depends on not his availability, but on the amount of interest he gets from our school. So it can be arranged as well.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Ma'am Kiri. And I think the individual sports, we do try and accommodate it on campus, but it becomes difficult to offer all of the sports. And again, I have shared a link. You're welcome to go to our website for the list of sporting activities. Those all depend on the number of students interested in the sport and per season. Then just moving on to the next question, Ma'am Miranda, you answered the first bit of that, is how long are the sport camps?
They are normally not longer than 3 to 5 days. 3 to 5 days maximum.
Thank you for that. And then how is your swimming team performing?
Okay, and Reese, maybe let me jump in here. We should have had one of the sports coaches here. I don't think we as the academics are the best people to answer that. I do want to make it clear that we offer sport. Sport is important, but we are not a top sports school. I can see where the questions are going right now. I don't want you to misunderstand. We do offer the sports. We encourage participation. In our school, it's more if you put up your hand, you want to be in the team, you are in the team. But the focus is very, very much academics. We do have students that are not interested in sport. They focus heavily on the academics. When it comes to the individual sports, it is difficult. Team sports, basketball, the rugby, the netball, soccer as well. Soccer very popular, but we are not a top sports school. I want to make that very clear. We do sport because we like it and we enjoy it. Our students enjoy participating. We have all the facilities. We've got the pool, everything. But I think, yes, let me just chip in there and clarify that. Thank you.
I think, sorry, just to add to that, just we do compete in the SAXA leagues, just so that you're aware for the team sports. So that's available to the students. So the competition is there. And I think that's the important bit to the sport is the development of the student.
Also, ma'am,
yes.
I do know that quite a few of our students belong to the Krugersdorp swimming clubs. So they represent Alma Mater in any case. But they do have professional swimming training off campus as well. But they are really, they have excelled exceptionally. So we've had some really fantastic swimmers as part of our school, but belonging to some private clubs out there.
Thank you for that as well. Then just the answer on the cricket. I know that it's part of our list, but that would all depend on the interest in that sport. For the high school. Marinda, you can correct me there if I'm misunderstanding something there.
You are perfectly right. And Louise, it is if there are interest, but the last few years, I think the last 2 years, we have seen that there was no interest. It was only interest in the rugby. And like James said, the basketball. Our students really do love the basketball a lot and the soccer. In those two sports, they are really excelling.
Thank you for that. And next time I'll just make a note to have a sports coach on as well, just to represent their take on the sports department. Ma'am Carrie Ann, thank you very much for your time on the culture and this, some input in the sports as well. We do appreciate that. We're now going, thank you. We're now going to move over to Q&A for management, which is Mr. James Moyer and Ma'am Marinda Stein, who's the Deputy Principal. Our admissions, which is myself and Simone is also online to answer any of your questions regarding admissions. So you're welcome to post your questions up. I see there's already a question there, maybe for Ma'am Marinda. Is there any assemblies in the morning?
Yes, every morning we assemble from 7:30 until 7:45, where we open with scripture reading and prayer, and then we do all our announcements during that time slot. And on a Tuesday, currently, we have a 40-minute period for assembly as well.
Wonderful, thank you for that. We're just going to, yes, carry on.
Our weekly morning meetings are handled by our student council and our head leaders of the school. There is a teacher present, but we like to use our students to use them for all the announcements and openings.
Wonderful, thank you. While we wait for some questions to come in, I don't know, Mr. Moy, if you want to carry on with that, our learning and the online learning that's available to the students and concurrent models. So just to elaborate on that question that we had earlier on.
Okay, maybe just to clarify, we haven't had the question yet, but we always get this. In grade 8, we do a number of subjects. I think it's 12. It's really a lot. We do that simply to introduce the subject so that when students get to do subject choices, which is at the end of grade 8, they know which subjects they want to do, which subjects they don't want to do. and then they drop to 8 subjects, and that's grade 9 and 10. So we do our IGCSEs over 2 years, grade 9 and 10. They do 8 subjects, something that we are bringing in next year. If 8 IG subjects is equal to an American school leaving certificate, the same with Canada. Students who want to go that route, in other words, move on to college or university once they've completed IGCSEs, our admissions department will be able to assist that. In grade 11 and 12, our students have got 2 choices. They can either move on to AS levels and complete 6 AS levels over 2 years, or 3 A levels over 2 years. So yes, we do not do our A levels in the 13th year. That is quite common. Schools do structure their curriculum like that. We finish off at the end of grade 12. Having said that, we sometimes do have students who've completed their AS levels over 2 years and then want to do their A levels in their 13th year. So that's very much the academic structure. Regarding our concurrent teaching, I just want to make clear that we are not an online school out there trying to recruit online students, okay? We've got the concurrent model because of the pandemic, but I think we've learned so much and realized the tremendous benefits of having the concurrent model that we will probably continue with it. Students do have the option right now to attend online or concurrently. I do think we will continue with the model. I don't see it as a pure online school. I don't at all. Yes, so that's very much, I think the future will determine exactly how that pans out. We all don't know what's going to happen next year. I know many universities in the UK are staying online for the whole of next year, and therefore we will probably continue with the concurrent model. Regarding a pure Cambridge online school, it is actually not available. There are naughty schools or companies out there trying that. They are not registered. You must always make sure when you deal with a school that they are properly registered and accredited. Should Cambridge make that available, trust me, we will jump at it. But right now, that's where the concurrent model fits into it. I have seen how we as management control the quality of teaching. It has become so much easier. I've seen the benefit to students. I think the concurrent model is here to stay. Maybe it is because of our type of student and type of teacher that we have on our campus. We were very fortunate to go online rather smoothly and actually very, very quickly. I'm very pleased with that. And for me, it will be very sad to let go of those incredible advantages. And like I say, we don't need to teach digital literacy separately. They get it with every subject. So I think there's a great future for the concurrent model. Right now, we've got students in other countries who cannot return because of closed borders and are attending concurrently. It has worked very well. I tease the teachers. There are clearly some of them that are on their way to become TV stars or TV presenters. They really like the model. I'm quite surprised by the fact that it is the minimum teachers and the minimum students who have not really taken to this model. That it does need fine-tuning, there's no question about it. I actually think that most schools in future will have an online school as well. I do think it's the future. We will see it happening. It's not going to be only a few schools that have this and it will make them very special. I see all schools in future going there. I don't think we can let it go. We need to continue with it. We need to specialize in it. We need to get better at it. We need to implement our proper LMS. I think that will be the last, like I said earlier on, the LMS and the proctoring system will probably be the last 2 components that we'll bolt into our ecosystem. It is the future. We can't get away with it. This year regarding parents' evenings, subject choice evenings, we've had it like this. It has worked extremely well. Parents work long hours. They can attend this online when it suits them. Regarding the assessment of students overseas, up till a few months ago, parents had to fly to South Africa, etc., for interviews. Now we can do everything online. We do use the CAT4. It's a product designed by GL Education. It's a company in London. We've now been using it for 3 or 4 years. The CAT4 is a phenomenal assessment tool that we use for admission purposes. It's been proved for, I see Anne-Louise is saying no. Okay, Anne-Louise, do you want to come in there? I know you get very scientific on this topic.
Okay, just on the assessment, the entrance assessment, it's not knowledge-based. I think that's the most important that you need to know. It's fair towards any student from any curriculum. What we're looking for, and the purpose of this assessment is important to understand, is that we want to see that what we offer at the school and what we can do for your student at the school fits in with the profile, so that we can, secure sort of a good progression of that student into our curriculum and our framework, because every Cambridge school is very unique in that regard. So that's the most important thing. I don't like stressing students on this entrance assessment. That's not at all the purpose. The purpose of that entrance assessment is to assist our students more than anything. We look at their current academic achievements and what they've been doing priorly. So that's not disregarded at all. We don't just rely on the entrance assessment. So we look at different factors. And when we interview a student, it's very much to see that our vision and our dream in our school fits in with that student. So we want to see, does the student want to go to university? Is that their end goal? Because everything that we do here in the high school is very much geared towards after school. So just to conclude on the entrance assessment there.
Thank you, Mrs. Moyer, but I thought I said exactly that. Ma'am Miranda, did I not say exactly that?
Oh, Mr. Moyer, you had your own version.
We've got some questions coming in, so I just want to move on to that, and then maybe we can come back to the set of questions. Is the school taught in 2 different languages divisions? Is one part taught in Afrikaans and the other in English? And if you would like to answer that, Mrs. Stein, I see you shaking your head there.
No, we only offer all our lessons in English. However, like the language students explained, with the French and Afrikaans, the teachers will definitely translate into English for the students to have a better understanding. However, some of our Afrikaans students also, if they need extra help, they will maybe go after school to the teacher, or while the other students are busy, raise a hand and ask the teacher to translate it to them in Afrikaans for that better understanding, or just explain it better in a different matter. But what I've seen normally when I attend lessons is our staff, they will explain something on the board to their students. If they don't get it, they will maybe first try another method. And if there's still a student not understanding, then they will go to the translate.
We've had students come from Afrikaans primary schools, and after the first term, they're absolutely fine. So there's a great sensitivity here on campus regarding language.
Oh, wonderful. Just to clarify on that, we run a Cambridge international curriculum, which is English, but I think our students are so exposed to English in this century that they do adapt very quickly, even from other languages like French that we've had, that is their first language. It's been fairly easy for them to bridge over into an English curriculum. Sorry, yes, Mr. Moyer?
Okay, if I can just add, every now and then we get this request. We speak Portuguese, we speak Greek, whatever. If any of these languages, Afrikaans or French, are going to be a problem, and your home language is a Cambridge subject, now you're welcome to go to the Cambridge website. There's a list of languages. It's a very long list. Your child is welcome to write that exam here. We are accredited to offer any of the languages. We need to make prior arrangements if there's a verbal component, a spoken component that we get an assessor, but it can be arranged. Just for interest's sake, our school is just under 700 students. I think next year we're just above 700 students. This coming exam, we are writing in our externals, in other words, only grade 10 and 12, the IGs. I don't know exact number, but there's being written between 1,600 and 2,000 papers. We also have students, private candidates that come and write at our school. So our exam sessions are big. We're experts at running these exams. Not many Cambridge schools do allow private candidates to enter. And in fact, we're in the process of applying to become a Cambridge Associate, which will give us the same standing as the British Council. It's a lot of work. We hope to wrap it up this year. Yes, like I said earlier on, when you look for an international school, one of the first things you probably need to look at is their accreditations. Thank you, Louise.
Thank you for that. We've got quite a number of boarding questions. Just to quickly answer some of them. Yes, we do have a boarding house. We've got two options to students. There's a weekly option and a termly option. So the weekly option, most of our local students opt for that, where they go home over weekends. And then our international students do the termly option, where they stay in the boarding house and only return on school holidays. So that's the boarding facilities. They're asking how many students in a class for grade 8. For boarding, how many learners share a room? And when it comes to religion, is there a specific church you recommend for them to attend, or one has to make their own choice? So I think that's a few questions in one.
Okay. I think our biggest class we've ever had was 25, Miranda. I think they're about for grade 8. Yes. Currently, the grade 8s, we have 3 classes, 25 each. We might be, it's this time of the year, we might be opening up a 4th one, taking it to 100. But at this stage 3, I think it's close to full. Regarding boarding, yes, I think if you're interested in boarding, you need to contact the admissions department very, very quickly. I've got a feeling it's full. So please do that. Regarding the rooms, we try to give A-level students their own rooms. You can go and view the virtual tour. It is very, very nice boarding. It's not the old-fashioned type. Some of them have ensuite bathrooms. They've got top-end beds, the fittings, etc. It's top-end. But yes, I urge you, if you need accommodation, that you do this as soon as possible. And regarding religion, we are a Christian school, but yes, we do not have a problem with students from other faiths attending. We don't want to encourage you to practice a faith that is non-Christian on our campus, because we are a Christian school, but it does not matter where you come from. Christ came for all. So that's as simple as that. We do not have religious instruction as a subject. Okay, I just want to be clear on that. Yes, I think I've answered the questions. Miranda, do you want to add to that?
No, James, I think you've said everything that's needed to know. I think with the junior, I think the question specifically also asked for the junior girls boarding. I think they are 5 in a room, but they are quite far from each other. So there's quite a big space open between the 2 of them, but there are not more than 5 per side. And then on the other side of the room, there's like a single room where 1 girl, but that's more for the older girls that we use that.
Thank you.
I think just to add to that, the boarding house is quite boutique and it's a really nice environment. So I'd like to urge you to come and have a look at the facility. We do have a view of the campus that we've put on YouTube, and we've shared that with you. But if you, because we're moving into level 1, you are welcome to come and have a physical look at the boarding house as soon as you are available, and you'll see that the spaces and the environment there is very home-like. So that's just in regards to that. Then the next question there is a little bit more on the boarding, because it's a co-ed boarding house, just to understand how it's controlled, especially with teenagers.
Well, it's separate buildings. Yes, I think it's as simple as that. Please understand that the history of our campus, it was started as a children's home after the Second World War. And 20 years ago, the children's home was converted into a private school. So many of our buildings are perfectly suited for accommodation. Yes, it has been completely revamped. But yes, we're quite strict in that regard. We're building a new games room now for next year. There's a beautiful restaurant. It is a real restaurant, if I can add. I'm very proud of it. It's quite new. Parents can also, I think when they drop off students, are welcome to go to the restaurant and have a meal there. Yes, you don't need to be worried about the boys and the girls. We manage that well.
Then just to extend to that specific question, how cell phone usage is controlled and substance abuse, example drugs.
Okay, Ma'am Marinda, you can handle the cell phones in boarding. I think you know exactly the rules. When they hand them over and then they're going to their lockers and all that. Students are perfectly safe there with staff present, so we don't want them to have the devices during the evenings because we know it's been written about a lot all over the world. Now, cell phones, technology being a massive distraction, students don't sleep, etc. Regarding substance abuse, we've had that a number of years ago. We are very quick to get the experts in to assist a child. As a school, we are not geared to specifically assist students with substance abuse. Therefore, we get the specialists in very, very quickly. I know it is a problem in the world today. I'm very aware of it. Maybe we've been very fortunate, maybe because of the way we run the school, that we've had very little incidents. Like I said, we've had it once, but it was a number of years ago. I don't know if that answers the question. We are very quick to phone the experts. We've got people on tap that we phone that can deal with it immediately. Yes, I hope that answers the question.
Thank you for that. And just to move on to some of the other questions, is there a maximum number of face-to-face physical classes for AS and A level?
Okay, Cambridge specifies hours. IGCSE is 180 hours and ASA level 360 hours. We meet that in every subject, and in many of our subjects we actually exceed that. So Cambridge, their methodology, they're big on face-to-face. I think their dilemma right now is to define whether what we are experiencing right now, is this face-to-face or is this not face-to-face? I know they're dealing with this right now because obviously they've had many requests of schools who want to offer the Cambridge curriculum completely online. And I know we've been talking about this, and it's a bunch of clever professors that need to work this out and tell us whether what we're experiencing now is face-to-face or not face-to-face. Okay. Maybe if I can just add, we had a question there on substance abuse. Maybe let's add bullying to it as well. We've had very little or few incidents over the years. I can't tell you exactly why. I can tell you that we like to keep our children busy at all times, even for those who are not in boarding. The moment school finishes, it's very simple. You're in your parents' vehicle, you're going home, or you're in an extra lesson, or in the study center, or on the sports field. You do not walk around, sit around. We don't allow that. Breaks are short. We've got teachers obviously in duties like all schools, etc. Before school, after school, breaks, etc. We keep them busy. We do make them work hard. I don't know whether that is the reason why we don't really have it. But if it does happen, we're quick on the draw there. This is going to sound terrible, but we don't entertain it. And we are quite quick if we can't assist that child to ask them to rather leave the school. I know this sounds harsh. This is a loving environment. You'll see that when you come to our school, we don't have bells ringing, etc., etc. Our students have got watches and clocks and things. They go where they need to go. I don't know whether it's because of the structure of the school, that how we fine-tuned it over the years, that we don't have these problems. I feel very blessed. Touch wood. Thank you, Anne-Louise.
Well, thank you. I'm just going to, more interesting questions there. How much of a percentage does a student pass report affect whether they will be accepted or not? I'm going to post up our entrance requirements for you to view sort of the entry level and the application. Look at, I don't know if you want to add anything on that, but I'll post up our entrance requirements there. Mr. Moya.
Okay, and Louise, you the best one to answer that regarding entrance requirements. It is like Anne-Louise said, we use the CAT 4, but we look at other things as well. If you're coming for an interview, we value respect for each other and good manners. I know that sounds old-fashioned, but good manners and respect are very, very important. We will not allow rudeness. A teacher will not shout at a child and vice versa. Yes, so respect, we preach that non-stop. It's part of what we do. Respect for everybody. It's as simple as that. Maybe that's one of the things we do too that causes the ugly things to go away, the nasty problems. I don't know, but yes, thank you.
I think from my side, just to understand our end goal at our school, we do follow quite if I may say, a fast-paced framework of the Cambridge curriculum, because we conclude the IGCSE at the end of grade 10. But I do employ you to send through the transcripts and opt to do the assessment, because we're looking for skills. And when we do the assessment, it's not knowledge-based. Let us review, because every child is very individual. So we do take a holistic view on every admission that we receive. So you're welcome to contact us, and we'll take the conversation further into your concerns for your child's admission at our school. I hope that answers your question there. Then just to move on to the next question there, I see that it's carrying on quite long, this session, is how many languages does a student have to take in?
Okay, like I said earlier, South African universities require 2 languages, English and whatever. Most foreign universities only require one language, okay? Then just regarding the languages on campus, French, Afrikaans, English, French has just absolutely exploded. I think our next one we'll probably be adding is Spanish or Mandarin. Our school is internationalizing fast. I think we're quickly going to get to where our population is made up of about 50% South Africans and 50% foreigners, which is, I think, is absolutely fantastic. We believe in diversity. I think there's enough research to prove out there that people, a diverse group of people simply solve problems better. Yes. And Louise?
Well, there was a question on the bus transport,
yes.
The to Stanton area. I've just answered that. We do have a bus service going to Cedar Square, North Riding, which would be your closer points of pickup.
Our buses go quite far. The North, Joburg North, Lanseria, Kagiso, Clearwater. We've been buying buses every year. I think for a small school, our catchment area is quite big. So buses, the routes are growing every year. And of course, we use that same buses to service our boarding students, taking them from airports, collecting them from airports. Just prior arrangements need to be made.
And then again, how many students on a class? Miranda, I don't know if you want to add that, you know, from grade 9 upwards, because they do subject selections, it does differ in those grades.
Yes. Okay, and Louise, yes, I would gladly like to add there, depending on student subject choices, like Louise said, the English, mathematics, the chemistry and the physics, that they will normally take in their class, their registered class that they have in the mornings as well. There, the student numbers is between 20 and 25. As soon as they split up for the key subjects, every year we work out the keys according to the students' requirements and their, for the students' requirements. Then I look at their choices, their interest, and accordingly I prepare the keys. So if you look, for example, sometimes in a subject on IGCSE level, like accounting, we have, let's say, 15 students in one class, economics 10, and then the business studies maybe 20 as well. DT can be 10, so they are quite small. As soon as we move on to the AS and the A level, again, pending if the child is going to continue with 6 ASs or only 3 A levels, then normally our classes is also between 19 to 25 students, not bigger. and that will only be applicable to math. And then for all the other subjects, they might be 3, they might be 5, there might be 8 students. And that's why I would like to continue with the concurrent method of teaching, especially for the A levels. That would be a dream. I think where we need to start first, James, is with the concurrent teaching to get that sorted, especially for our A levels, because sometimes we have requests for an A level subject, but due to only one student wanting that, we actually cannot offer it to only one student. But at this stage, we really try to accommodate 99.9% of our students' subject choice requirements.
Wonderful, thank you for that. And I think the numbers there, if I'm correct, some of them go down as low as 10 because of the subject selection. Am I right in saying that, Ma'am Miranda?
Yes, and Louise, and even lower, especially on the ASA level, it can be 5 or 3 the lowest. Yeah, the minimum will be 3.
Wonderful, thank you. And then just some of the previous questions, which grade is advisable to start in Alma Mater? James, I don't know if you want to answer that.
The sooner the better. We have a baby academy. We take them from 2 months.
3 months.
Yeah, look, I think depending on the curriculum you're coming from, the later it becomes more difficult. For example, coming into grade 10 is a difficult year if you've never done Cambridge before. We do have a few solutions there, but that's absolutely the latest. I would say grade 8, grade 9. We've seen grade 9 is popular for students coming. We've seen grade 7. It's become very popular for students to join in grade 7. But yes, at any stage, but grade 10 upwards, it becomes very, very difficult.
Thank you very much. And I think it's to do with the curriculum and how we run that with the IGCSE courses, because they do most of the work in grade 9 for that course. It becomes very difficult, even if it's top student, to catch up to that work. So we just need to be sensitive towards that as well. I know I had this on an email and I'll answer that more extensively on there as well. For AS, do you offer personalized teaching, example homeschooling? If yes, what are the terms? Otherwise, what are the options for students that live from far from schools?
Okay. Personalized teaching, we offer extra lessons in all subjects, and it works as follows. We don't want grade 8s in the first term to apply. Because grade 8s, about 50% from our grade 8s of our grade 8s come from our own primary school, the remainder from outside. We do offer extra lessons. A child can go to his or her teacher and request that. We just say that the extra lesson, we live in a time when it's a business model out there. Every second person is offering extra lessons, etc., etc. I don't think it's always that effective because I don't see the marks go up. Be very careful when you want to do that. Make sure they are Cambridge experts. I would rather ask the school, and of course you don't pay for it. We do offer extra lessons after school. A child can request that at any stage. But we always say with an extra lesson, you can't walk into an extra lesson with a math teacher and say, Mr. Chamanda, what's up? I don't get math, because Mr. Chamanda is going to kick you out very quickly. But if you approach him and say, sir, I have got this problem. I've been really struggling with this. Can you assist me? And then, like we say, you've got an extra lesson on steroids. It's constructive, and the child leaves with a problem solved. So we absolutely encourage that. Make use of the extra lessons. Go and book it with a teacher. Therefore, our teachers don't do sport, etc. in the afternoons. They're available till 3:30 to do specifically this, extra lessons to our own students. But it needs to be constructive. Okay, you need to go and you need to ask questions in class as well. If your child is very quiet during class and never asks a problem, we need to discuss that. Children need to engage. They need to participate in lessons. Classes are small. School needs to happen during school. Thank you. Am I being too strict today?
No, not at all. And I think it promotes a flipped classroom environment where the student can sort out his own learning preference with some of the material that's provided beforehand. Is go and study beforehand and have constructive questions and have a real session with the teacher in
Look,
class.
the flipped classroom, many of our staff are using it. It's a fantastic tool. But the fact that if we're in concurrent, that a child can go home and watch the math lesson in the morning that he or she didn't quite understand again and again and again. I think that's technology working for us. It's wonderful.
Mamarinda, maybe a question for you. What hairstyle do you allow?
Any hairstyle.
As long as it is neat, with the girls, especially the braiding, we do allow that. But when it comes to the color of the beads, we like to keep to our school colors or the see-through. But we are really not that strict. But we will inform us as long as it looks. James always say it must be a corporate hairstyle, and that's what we are trying. But I think we will quickly tell a student if the hair is not right. But to be honest, I think we don't really have any problems regarding the hair anymore. The students sort themselves out. No, not very strict. For the boys, I don't allow a bun at the back. That I can truly say. I can be honest about that, but the rest we are fine.
Yeah, I think hair mostly used to be like mine, short, etc. But we've been loosening the rules on that, and I'm proud at exactly how our students have handled that. We have got boys with long hair. It's neat. It's not in their eyes. Then what is the problem? We have days. We're experimenting with this. We call it corporate days, where you don't have to wear your school uniform. You can dress or wear corporate wear. And I've been blown away at how students arrive at school. Young men so professionally dressed, even wearing ties. And I was, I must say, when they walk past me, I actually stare. So they do have that option. Maybe one day that will become the rule. I don't know. But yes, the hair thing, if it's neat and not in the eyes, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. I'm hoping that we did answer all of these questions. I don't see any open questions there, and I see that some of the parents had to leave the session. So please do watch the YouTube clip again if you want to refer back or if you joined us late. We will have a second one on the 30th of September with the same format. So if you just want to start off with the last Q&A session, you're welcome to do that if you want to add some questions. And obviously, we as admission staff is there for any technical questions that you want to ask and starting your process and application at our school. It's quite funny that every year the questions do differ. I didn't have any questions on universities this time. So I think, I don't know if we should add anything or it's dragging on too long, but you're welcome to prompt me.
Okay, and Louise, before we go, if I could just say this, and I know I'm being naughty now because you gave me a speech before and I'm not allowed to say this, but we do have Alma Mater College as well. If you're thinking of homeschooling, you're welcome to contact Louise. You see I'm getting a look there. We have the high school, we have the primary school here. We've got another primary school near Maragon. So yes, we only on the West Rand. There's Eagle House as well, if I can be that very naughty. But yes, feel free to contact us. There's a number of services that you can access if you are a homeschooler. For example, our exam center. We've got students coming from all over to write our exam center. Like I said, we're writing between 1,600 and 2,000 papers in October, November. It's a massive exam session. It has turned the whole school upside down, accommodating all these students. Luckily, we've got new buildings that we will start using, brand new buildings for that purpose. So yes, maybe consider the college as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that, I just want to conclude, and please do send us some questions via email if you have any more. And thank you very much for joining this long session with us and taking a tour through the subjects and meeting some of our teachers. And thank you to the management for your willingness to answer all of the questions there. And with that, I would like to conclude our session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Lovely.
Thank you, parents. Thank you.
Bye-bye.